Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Hunter Scroop. I live about 90 miles outside of Roanoke, Virginia, and I've been wanting to do this video because I think it would help some folks out, especially the younger folks that's going through a difficult time. Kind of like to talk about how I went from, having a job making $40,000 a year, $45,000 a year, to basically being homeless. It can't happen to anybody. It's the real pandemic in the United States. As a younger person, more immature than I am now, I used to look at it as, that's something that won't happen to me, or it can't happen to me. It's I can work myself out of a situation. It don't matter how bad it is. I can handle it. I can take care of it. But here's the biggest lesson that I've learned in life, especially after you turn 18. When you think that you have it all figured out, you don't have nothing figured out like you think you do. And that's gold advice right there. And so I like to talk a little bit about my background and my life. I am college educated. I graduated with a degree in medical laboratory technology in 2016 at local college. I graduated with that. It was an associate's. I also have a certificate in phlebotomy, a certificate in health sciences, which that's not significant. The two smaller certificates is fairly quick getting those. Associates is kind of a big deal. It's the first one that went to college in my family. After that, or I'll back up for a second, I done some painting, I done some backhoe work, sold scrap teenage years, for the most part. Put myself through college, had a pretty good game plan. Did not enjoy college, and I did not enjoy the medical field, so I left that, and I went to work for a local manufacturer. I worked there roughly 5 years. I started getting sick with a condition called mast cell activation syndrome and another condition called multiple chemical sensitivity. It took me over a year to get diagnosed. That's a long story. It's also on my channel, the details, kind of what happened there, because it's a long story in itself. Basically what it is, I'm allergic to man-made materials, and it's something that's not well understood in the medical community. And I developed this condition from being basically chemically poisoned. There's soldiers that deal with this. You can look at the term Gulf War syndrome, and it'll come up. It's kind of common. It kind of goes hand in hand with mast cell activation syndrome. But never think that you can't get here. And but most important, number one thing, the advice that I have is, if you give up, you'll know that there's no way out. But if you stay here and you keep trying, there's always still a chance. And the reason I'm making this video is it's intended not at all for pity party or anybody to feel sorry for me. I just want to educate some of the younger folks and some of the people that also might be struggling right now, because homelessness is really it's really skyrocketed in the United States. So it's gotten to where it's pretty common here. Mine was not due to a financial issue. I made good money. The job that I worked at. The second manufacturer, I made even better money. But because I'm basically allergic to man-made materials, there's nothing that I can do work-wise to sustain myself. And since COVID-19 and Social Security is so booked out, it's very, very difficult to get in for hearing for Social Security. You know, I've had tubes run out of my lungs. I've had 2 stomach surgeries. I've got a place on my gallbladder. I coughed up blood for 3 or 4 months. I had bronchitis for 7 months. I've had pneumonia 4 different times. I have mast cell activation syndrome. I got multiple chemical sensitivity. I also have asthma. I work comfortably with asthma. It was getting worse toward the last couple years that I worked. It was also progressing with my conditions. I went from being on no medications at all. I didn't really take an allergy pill for 5 years. Now I take a whole bag of medications. So don't never ever think that you can't get here. When I was 23 years old, I bought my first brand new car. Had a Dodge truck. I had a diesel, a 94 7.3 diesel. I bought and paid cash for it myself. I bought my very first mobile home when I was 24 years old. I was in the process of remodeling it when I got diagnosed with 2 conditions that put me out of work. I went on medical leave for 4 months. I later lost that position. My medical leave and ran out. I do still own my car. It's sitting right here. Thank God. It's put a lot of faith back in my body, and I've had to rely on God for a lot of things. So I went from, you know, owning my own home. I had a truck. I had a car. You know, had a, as I said before, you know, great paying job. Now I went from that to being homeless. These conditions, there's not a whole lot of help for it. There's medications that helps treat it, but it's not curable. Since I cannot work in basically buildings or around any kind of man-made materials, and that goes for pretty much, you know, 98% of buildings, I'm kind of forced to, you know, live in extreme poverty. But if I leave one good thing behind, from what I'm telling you and the advice that I'm giving you, don't never give up, no matter how bad it is or how bleak. I have $16 left in my name, and you know, people that I really thought was, you know, going to be there, they've not been there. You know, I leave names and details out, but it's people, you know, there's people that want to help, but they don't know how to help, and that's the unfortunate part about these conditions. I am a half-interest owner in a piece of property, trying to get that sold. I've not had a lot of cooperation from some family members on the property, which is misfortunate because I've been good as gold from my end as possibly as I can be. So it's a very misfortunate situation when it comes to land and money. You know who You know who your friends are. Been very reasonable on my end. It's not directed toward everybody, of course, but back to what I was saying, if I can give you one good piece of advice, never give up, no matter how hard it is. Been sleeping in my car, you know, it's difficult, and it could be worse. I could be to where I don't have a car. I also have outdoor allergies. I was born with 13 food allergies, so I always had to be selective about what I eat. I also have environmental allergies, severe dust, peanut, nut allergies, all that stuff. So my time outside, I can't really cut trees or anything like that because of the severe allergies. I was born with those. So I'm really in a difficult, complex situation. I'm not getting all the medical care that I need because of pending land sale. I'm out here right now. It's a cool September night. Got the heater blasting, but I will say this. You know, it says in the Bible that the Lord blesses those who are crushed in spirit. And I did not go back to church. I did not get back in church until I was completely crushed in spirit. When I got to the point to where I knew that I could not help myself, or nobody could help me, no man, or no doctor, or no nurse, when you know that He is the only way, the only one that can help you. And I guess maybe things had to happen like this for me to get back into church, even though that, you know, I still cuss and I still, you know, I'm not perfect, you know, by no means. I don't claim to be perfect. But God looked for me for a really long time, and He really wanted to see me back through those doors. And even though that, you know, I lost 2 good paying jobs and 1 okay paying job, and, you know, I had to sell my home in a terrible loss that I was remodeling because I couldn't finish it. I bought a camper to try it before I knew how really bad my conditions was. I can't live in it due to my sensitivities. It took losing everything for me to realize how important the real things are. You know, your health, you know, your relationship with your other people, how you treat people. Was I a bad person? By no means. Sure, I had, you know, conflicts or disagreements with people, and, you know, maybe I should have done things or done things I shouldn't have, or done things a little different. But you know, the Lord says that He loves a cheerful giver, and I think I pretty much fit that criteria. You know, I give somebody. If they's broke down, they need help, you know, I give them a ride, whatever. If I was able to help them, I try my best to, you know, step up and help. But, you know, where's those friends at now? I mean, you don't, you know, it's as soon as you stop giving, or you stop doing, or, you know, they don't see a benefit with you anymore, you don't see them. You know, that's another cold hard truth after 18 is, you know, there was several people that I worked with and stuff. I done things for them, and, you know, you don't see them doing anything or helping me out at a time of crisis. Luckily, I've had, due to my condition, I met some really great folks on the MCS website, Molecular Chemical website. They've stepped up and they've helped me what they can, and I'm so thankful. And the people watching this video, they'll know who I'm talking about or referring to, and I'm so thankful for for their names and for them reaching out. It's such a blessing. So it's not all bad, it's good. But I will say that the world it's changing. It's not like it used to be at all. People, you know, they just don't care like they did. And pretty much, really, all you got yourself. And that's a hard truth, especially when you reach a certain age and you got all these buddies before you're sick, but when you develop, you know, conditions or whatever, all the friends just, you know, they disperse, they disappear. But no matter how hard it gets, you just keep doing the best that you can. Dad gave me one good piece of advice that always stuck by me. He said, son, he said, do the best with what you have. And I believe that's what I've done. You know, I lost my savings, like I said. I lost the mobile home I was working on. I had nearly $20,000 in it. A good paying job. My health. I was a very materialistic person. So now materialistic things really don't mean anything to me. And in some ways I'm happier now than what I was before, because I'm not pushed, you know. My ultimate goal in life was to buy a house before I was 30 years old. I done the closest thing next to that. I bought a mobile home. I wanted a house. I was building up, saving up to, that was going to be my next step before I turned 30 years old. Now my goal is just to survive from day to day and to get the proper care, and worrying about whether I'm going to have insurance, you know, next month. Am I going to be able to get myself to the doctor? You know, it's several concerns and things that comes to mind, but I know that my work ethic and my drive, I'll either get better, if there's a way to get better, or I'll die trying. And you got to have that mentality when you're at the bottom, because the bottom teaches you more than the highs do. I've come back from so many lows, but this is the lowest I've ever been, ever. So my piece of advice to you, it's always can be worse. A friend of mine said, you could be laying in a bed with a respirator on. I'm very close to that. I wear a respirator in the daytime. Luckily, I'm not bedridden. I hope that I'm not bedridden. But that could be a possibility with my condition. Usually it's a progressive condition. Family-wise, yeah, they're supportive. I mean, they don't get all the aspects of the condition. They don't know how to help, you know. So I'm not knocking those by, you know, by no means, but some other things I like to cover is, you know, it took me losing everything to see what was important, and it took me losing everything to get me back in church. So God chased me for a long time. If he just broke my leg or something like that, or something simple, you know, 8 weeks I've been better, 10 weeks I've been better, it wouldn't affect me, because I'd found a way to be back at work 8 weeks, 10 weeks, good to go, 4 weeks, whatever. Injuries and stuff never kept me down. Food allergies didn't keep me down. Asthma didn't keep me down. But these conditions is so terrible and uncontrolled and unexplainable. You know, there's not a magic pill or magic cure, but well, I hope this video helped a few of you folks out. I watched The reason I want to do this video is Steve Harvey done a video where he lived in a car for 3 years, and I know my situation is worse because I got medical conditions, but when I watched his story, I thought I have to do one. I have to do one about my life. So God bless everybody, and I hope this helped y'all out. Peace.